watching goofy internet videos and saw something that was like, this video is very goofy and relatable. Allow me to just look down at what the creator wrote about the video and possible tags associated with this morsel of entertainment. I don't suspect anything. Arby's. This probably doesn't mean anything.
Oh, and the Smash Brothers target practice music. Let's go. Yo, slapper of a song. I'm not gonna follow my ADHD into that rabbit hole of listening to the Smash Brothers target practice music. Actually, just kidding, I am. Slapper. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, amazing. Amazing song. Anyways, let's continue.
This started to happen more and more until I started to ask some serious questions about myself. And I'll tell you how I figured out that I have ADHD. But first, you don't like watching sponsorships. But what if you could watch an entire sponsorship segment in under 1 second? Introducing the All at Once-a-tron. Just get inside and I pull this lever and... well... Plan B. NordVPN is a virtual private network service that gives you privacy online.
Amazing, amazing. I'm not sure legally if I can include this sponsorship in my video, but that was an incredible segue. I respect it.
So after all of this, these coincidences, it's led me to think and reflect on a lot of things. There were a lot of memories that started to seem like signs more than just memories. Like forgetting to drink water for an entire day might be a sign of something and not just be a goofy little thing that I do sometimes. So I started to read books and watch lectures and learn as much as I could about ADHD. And the more that I did, the more that puzzle pieces started to click. These are things that I did that I thought were normal, but were actually signs of ADHD. Having hundreds of tabs open at a time, constantly, to a point where 30 gigabytes of RAM is a necessity, is something people with ADHD do. Doing a task like locking a door, but seconds later, you aren't totally sure if you locked the door or relock it another time or two.
Yup. Oh, that's the worst. That's part of the anxiety aspect of ADHD. I relock my doors all the time, and I will use all the locks. Like, I won't just use one lock on the door. Like, if a door has multiple locks, I'm gonna lock all of them every time. But yeah, like at the gym, when I would go to the gym and I would lock my locker, I would like try to open it like 10 times just to make sure I actually locked it. Sometimes I'd walk away, go back. It's bad. It is bad. Completely do that.
There's this thing I like to do when I'm alone, where I walk in circles for a couple of hours and I talk to myself. Don't judge me, I like it, but also apparently it's an ADHD thing. Reading paragraphs of books over and over, even though I'm very intentionally trying to read it, I have to do it multiple times. It took me ages to finish Hatchet. Ages! And it wasn't even that good. Going to do a task and forgetting what the task was on my way to do it because I'm thinking of something in the meantime. Yeah. Chronically. Like this happens every day, all day. Like this one time, Kelly wanted some chocolate and I was like, I can get you chocolate. And I went to the kitchen to go get chocolate. But from point A to point B, I just got distracted. And I kind of found myself holding chocolate. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm hungry for chocolate. And I eat it. I went to the room where Kelly was sitting, and she was sad because I was eating her chocolate. I don't know how to explain it, other than, like, I didn't mean to do that. It just happened.
Yeah. Going into a room, forgetting why you went to that room. Oh my gosh.
All the time.
You know when it gets to me the worst is when I'm editing a video and then I have a meme that I want to put in from the internet, so I have to go to the internet to find that meme. I open up YouTube, I get distracted, like something else gets recommended. 40 minutes later, I just spent 40 minutes watching random YouTube videos, and then I go and I'm like, oh, I'm distracted from editing. I go back to editing and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I was on YouTube. I need to get this clip. And then I will get the clip and get back to work. It got so bad, you guys, that now I have a plugin on my Chrome browser that blocks my YouTube recommended. I don't get recommended videos on YouTube. On my phone, I do all the time, and so I'm addicted to YouTube on my phone. But that messes me up so much, you guys. Starting something, and then one thing distracts you, and 40 minutes later, you remember what you were trying to do in the first place. Oh, it's torture. It's fun and silly, right? But like, it messes up your life big time. I would not wish it on anybody.
I don't know how to explain it other than like, I didn't mean to do that. It just happened, and it happens a lot. Caffeine does not work on me and just makes my heart rate go up. Contacting me is a nightmare and usually takes a couple of messages until I get around to it. Not doing things right up until the deadline. That one's a common one. And the list goes on. So after all of this reflection and learning, I have very strong suspicions that I have ADHD. So I had to get a professional to assess me and look at my brain. Oh God. The assessment included a bunch of questions, but the first part of it included this new test, which I think was called an EKG. They strap a bunch of wires to your head and measure your brain waves. The instructions were to stay still and do not move for 30 minutes.
Wow.
ADHD test. Stay still. 30 minutes.
Don't leave me here. My house. My dog.
Yeah, he basically had to meditate for 30 minutes, which meditating when you have ADHD is so hard, but it is one of the most beneficial things you can do. It's so beneficial, and it's so hard for people with ADHD that I know this information, but I still don't do it. The only time I meditated consistently was briefly in 2017 when I lived in England. I was meditating every day, and it was helping my life a lot. But guys, it is so hard. What he just described there, like sitting in one place and not thinking about anything for 30 minutes, borderline impossible when you have ADHD. Oh, it is so tough. But yeah, honestly, I'm gonna try to get back into meditating, and I'm gonna tell you guys that now so that, you know, you can comment and ask about it in the future, and I will remind you guys if I did start doing it. I really want to start doing it. I think it helps a lot.
You already know the results. I had ADHD, and I felt weirdly relieved. There has been a lot of frustration in my life because despite trying really hard to focus, I could only achieve half as much as other people. So despite still having issues with it, it feels good to know why. I never expected that was going to be a meaningful thing to me, but here we are.
Yeah.
Anyway, after my diagnosis, there was talk about medication, and that did not go well, but I'm going to make a second video about that. I have an idea of what I'm going to say, but since we're entering medication territory, I want to try to be a little bit more thoughtful about how I go about the video. So,
True.
need a little bit more time. Thank you for your patience about it.
I really respect that. Very cool. Very cool. I really respect that. I've never really talked much about ADHD medication because, yeah, that's a pretty serious thing. And I don't want anything I say to encourage someone to go on medication who doesn't need it or someone to not take medication who does need it. You know, I don't really want to influence people with that because it's different for everybody. It's appropriate for some people. It's not appropriate for other people. And so I don't really want to talk about that or even say whether or not I've taken ADHD medication. Leave that up to an actual psychologist to determine. Anyways, back to the part he was talking about school. Yeah, I also suffered, it's one of the biggest things I suffered with ADHD. I hate calling it ADHD, guys. I'm gonna keep saying ADD, okay? I never really reached my full potential with school. I talked about this in a recent video. Actually, I don't know if the video I talked about it in actually might be coming out after this. So anyways, in my city, I was one of the top scoring students on standardized testing when they were testing every student. In grade 4 in my hometown, in our school district, every 4th grade student had to take these standardized tests. And it was just for general intelligence. It was like a glorified IQ test, but these tests were 8 hours long. You took a week to do them. And then if you did really well on that, you'd get put into another test for just the top 15 or 12 students of each school. And then if you do exceptionally well on that, then you get to be in a special program at one special school where it's each year there's 20 students from the entire town that qualify. Anyways, I was in that. I went to the gifted kids school. And so obviously my potential for school performance was astronomical, right? In the rare time when there was something that captivated me enough to really focus on it, I could get hundreds on exams. It was possible. In my final grade 12 exams. 2 of the classes I got the highest exam score in the school. That was because I had just gone through a breakup and I was coping by just pouring all of my attention into that. There was nothing else I could do. But the rest of the time, you guys, I never reached my potential. It's like I was getting B's, which like B's are fine, you know, B's are not bad, obviously. But compared to what I was capable of doing, it's like I could never do it because ADD is just makes it so hard. I just couldn't focus enough to study. It was really bad. So anyways, long story, but yeah, I can relate to what Andy was saying there. ADD is fun and cool in some ways, and I wouldn't trade it, you know, for anything because it's what makes me good at what I do. The reason you guys find me funny is because of my, you know, I wouldn't be entertaining if my brain worked like a normal person. But yeah, it has its pros and cons, obviously. And now let's end off this classic with one more, a more lighthearted one. Food fight! Food fight. I have absolutely no idea what this could be, but I'm very excited. 3, 2, 1.
Well, hey there, little guy. What you got there, buddy? Broccoli? Well, what are you gonna do with that there broccoli?
Ow.
Food fight! Noun, an instance of people throwing food at one another. Broccoli, pizza, beef, cheese, PBJ, just the P, HAC, JJBLT, BRB, corn dog, corn without the dog. First invented in 1939 by Jeremy M. Beef Food Fight. That's not real.
Is he gonna talk about actual food fights here? I actually have no idea what this video is gonna be. Is he gonna talk about food fights, or is this gonna be like, this food's better than this food? Because man, food fights, if you really think about what a food fight is, maybe as a kid you think about it differently, but as an adult who cares about sustainability in the earth, there's not much more entitled, awful behavior than wasting food by throwing it at people. Like, have a pill instead to do that, you know? Wasting food is just ugh, gross. I hate it.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to here. Hope you're doing well. You know, with whatever's going on out there.
What's up, my?
You ever been in a food fight? There's something so
And